Howdy. New project. This is cool. Japanese Squire. But look, just have a look at this for a second. Like how much wear is in this. I'll flip you around and do some like cinematic close-up things because I'm a professional. So you can see how much wear and how played. This thing's fucking insane. Like the pickups. That's the first time I think I've ever seen wear in the side of a pickup and in the pick guard. I'll make sure I get you some better pictures. This belongs to a dude called Joe from Norwich, like a tour driver, super rad dude when he came in the shop. Like we could chat for ages. And he was like, I can either buy another guitar or I could finally get this one fixed. This was, a dude used it for a Dire Straits cover band. And I think he just played it to the point of like, it's done and sold it. It needs a lot of work doing to it. But it's cool, like it's SQ serial number, so that's 83, 84, something like that. Around there somewhere. I love it. I love guitars that have had the living daylights kicked out of them live. Like each one of these marks has been earned. I think it's rad. I think this is how they should look, personally. Like I do a lot of finish touch-ups for guys that want like a little ding filled in there. Like I know the first one's the hardest. I know, like a beautiful guitar. But if you play them, they're supposed to look like that. This needs a lot doing. Let me flip you around, stop rambling, and I'll show you what we need doing. Right, threw the toy for the dog 15 minutes. And now she's got another one in the mouth. But let's get on with this. That definitely needs fixing. So we'll go through how we're going to do that. But look at all the wear. Like, look how deep that is. How much fret wear is in this. Like they're played down to the board. See the scoopies on the side? Like the frets stick out. They're not sharp. It's not that there's fret sprout or anything. It's where the dude has literally played the wood away. I'm like, that's cool, isn't it? It's going to be a twat to refret, but you know, it's cool. Look at that. That is quite a divot he's got in there. Ridiculous wear. They're off because these are the wrong size. Doodled the wrong ones, so I've got the right ones coming. I just needed to measure the holes. When I look at the state of it, these are a poly finish as well. Like, how much play has been on this to get it to look like that? A lot, I'm guessing. Right. A couple of things we're going to have to deal with. One, my arm hurts. I need one of them selfie stick things, don't I? That's what I'll need. This is a veneer board. It's wafer thin. I'm going to have to change arms. I've been to the gym, they hurt, right? Which means any problem. Oh, my finger's in the thing. Oh, fucking professional, innit? Fine, I'll go back to the other one. Fine. Where was I? Veneer board. Because it's a veneer board, you can't sand anything out of it. So if there's any problem, if there's any undulation, anything like that, you're kind of stuck with it. And there is so much wear in this board, there's bound to be some problems. Normally when you're dealing with old vintage stuff and there is all that wear, you're looking at where the fret slot is and you're leveling it to where the fret slots are, not across the whole board. Does that make sense? You have to find the ways around it. A lot of dudes would repair that. Joe wants it kept. I think the guitar's earned that. And personally, if you repair it, it kind of looks a bit odd. My arm hurts. We've been over this, haven't we? So what we're probably going to have to do, pull the frets, heat press it, and if there is any bend or weirdness in the neck, try and take it out with some heat. Very light sanding, because I don't think if I lower it down, there is 2.4 mils worth of board. I don't know what that is in inches. I don't care. So you have to run a really small fret tang. Like if you use anything bigger, you're going to cut into the maple and it's going to look dog shit. And I see it more times than I would care to. Like, how hard is it to measure something and go, that's going to look shit? I don't know. Give a fuck, maybe. So we're not going to do that. So the other way around things with old stuff is if you can run a taller fret and there is a bit of whoop in the neck, you can just level to the top of the frets, not the board, which gets you over a problem. Do it quite a lot with fret levels and older stuff and things that won't straighten out. But we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to have the neck pretty close with heat before we even start doing anything like that. Hopefully this makes sense because I'm just fucking rambling and thinking my arm hurts. Right, put you in time lapse, pull the frets, and then we'll look at how we route all that off and fix the nut shelf. Frets are pulled. Let's try this with shaky cam. The truss rod is pretty much maxed out. And you can see the daylight underneath the straight edge. But remember when I said you can level it to the fret slot? That's what I mean. I hope that makes a bit more sense now. But you can see that how much play has been put into this neck. And if I was to sand it down to that, then the rosewood's going to disappear and we'd end up with fret tangs sitting in the maple, which we don't want. But luckily, like, yeah, the truss rod is pretty maxed, but it's straight. So we can back this off, do some compression fretting through the middle, which will bend the neck back a bit, and we should be golden. So this is what we've got to set up. Old wooden block, because they've got a flat top and a solid edge. Router base. Just knocked up a quick perspex one. But then I can run the pattern bit up along there. It's up where the nut slot would be. And I can just take that off and I can nudge it down and just get to the last bit of that rosewood, because it's smashed it right off at the maple, all uneven. So I'll probably take it down to roughly there, and then I can just sort of file it and sand it just to fine tune it. But right, fingers crossed. Let's hope we don't fuck this up. Eyes and ears as well, as Paul would say. Right, got all that routed out, then filed flat. I don't want to go too much further because we're getting to the point of, we can see the maple, so we don't want to go any further and make a step, because that would look shit. But I've gone through all my, just clamp that in place. There we go. Rosewood offcuts and whatnot, and found something that I reckon that matches pretty good, doesn't it? My voice finally broke during the middle of that sentence, but we've got some grain lines and stuff going up through there. Yeah, you're probably not going to notice, but yeah, we're trying to do a good job, aren't we? I'll have to come in with a Dremel and just whoop that at the end, but for now we're going to glue that on and go and get some lunch. Right, all glued on. Going to use some glue boost tape. Cannot remember what it's called, but you can sand right up against it and not file through it and stuff like that. I'm going to turn the sound off because it's going to get loud. Sharpen all the edges. Now we'll just do some hand sanding, get that dialed in, and then we'll start shaping the front side of it. And there we have it. It's just got a bit of wet CA glue on it at the minute. I'll let that dry and then just wet sand it, buff it out a little bit. What I might do is just ding it up ever so slightly, or maybe just wipe a little bit of amber over the top of it, just so it blends in a little bit more. But that's done. Got in there with a little Dremel. Then put the can't think of the words. Put the top of the semicircle in. Yeah, that'll do. I'll let that dry. Then faff around with that a little bit more, just to get it to match and look a bit more in keeping. But happy with the grain patterns. I might just get a marker out and a little graining pens and just darken the edges up ever so slightly, just so it matches in with the board a little bit better. But yeah, happy with that. Yeah, on to the fretting. Right then, frets are in and they're all super shiny. Whoop whoop. Just look how cool this is. Look how much wear is in the bottom of that board. I had to end up rebuilding a bit of wood round the edge of some of them, and like just dabbing bits of like a few touch-up techniques and stuff. You could feel the fret ends, but it wasn't from like the board shrinking and it being like fret sprout. It was where he'd played the wood away. It was the fret sticking out of the board, which is fucking insane, isn't it? Like, how cool is that? Like, everyone bangs on about wanting the Relic guitar and like just play it. Like, this dude did it. Like, this is cool. We're going to go through just very quickly. I've got to put a nut in it, so we'll just do like a time lapse of that. But for this bit, it's going to show you a quick little tip. Down the end, I've had to do loads of filing on both sides, loads of filing, loads of sanding, because the edge of it's basically doing that. So, can you see there? how much that steps in. Like that fret properly like stuck out, like you could feel it. So I had to rebuild a little bit coming into it, so you can just jam your hand into it. It's cool. I love it. I might even end up doing a bit more. We'll see how it goes. Each fret end basically has to be done individually, so a lot of sanding done on the side. I just want to put a little bit of finish down the edge, which you can do a couple of ways. Obviously spray it, can't be asked to wait for that to dry. Bit of CA glue really makes your eyes sting, or I found using, not sponsored, friction polish from Chestnut Products, which is like a shellac based thing. It's for lathes, like you just literally hold your hand on it. You can't see I'm doing that, and it'll buff out with the speed of the lathe. But for down the sides of a guitar neck, it's perfect for just coming in and putting a little bit of sheen, a little bit of finish, just sealing everything up nicely. You just need to give it a couple of little wipes. Couple of wipes. And then buff the living shit out of it. And it's done. That's it. Repeat until you've got the desired like sheen level you want. But I mean, like 2 wipes and a buff. There's a mum joke in there, isn't there? And I'm happy with it. So I'm going to do that on the other side. Time lapse putting a nut in it. This is a cool guitar. Top's all done, buffed out, new nut. I wiped a little bit of colour on it, just to sort of a bit more in keeping with the rest of the guitar, make it a little bit moodier, a bit stained. New brass saddles. Ended up having to put a new switch in it because the neck pickup wasn't engaging. And while I was in there, I just did the modern tone mod, so you've got the bridge pickups on its own tone, which is handy because this is super bright, like all over the bright. These two are 2.8 something in output, nearly 2.9. This is 5.7, so they're not super hot pickups, but there's quite a difference. These two sound really fucking cool. This is a bit bright, so you have to wind the tone down for my ears. If you're probably just playing solos and stuff, probably quite nice. I'm not that guy. It's cool. One weird thing I noticed when pulling the frets out, it smelt like the guy just literally covered it in aftershave. Like there was such like a, I don't know, Lynx Africa or some shit smell coming out of it. Like normally you get like, if it's been in a studio or in like a room that's, you burn incense, you get that sort of smell seep into it. This guy, the previous guy, must have had like a bath in Paco Rabanne, or I don't know, aftershaves. Brute, is that an aftershave? I remember my granddad wore that many years ago. Couldn't tell you anything else. And that smell was coming through loads, and it must have been in the board quite a lot, because when you were pulling the frets out, there wasn't any chip out, but the board was really soft. So little bits flaked up, so I went through and glued them back down. Nothing pulled out, which was good, because then we didn't have to do any repairs. But I went through and wicked CA down the side of each slot, just to try and like strengthen everything up, because it was, I don't know, like it seeped in it and made it just too soft. Seems to be sorted out now. It's fine. It's been like, I stripped it with lighter fluid and all that sort of stuff, trying to get all that shit out of it and all that oil out of it, and then the Murphy's wood soap as well, to try and pull all that in, and then just put like wood wax in there. So fingers crossed there's no issues. Shouldn't be, but you know, hopefully. Done. Thanks for watching. Probably was a long one, wasn't it? On to the next one, I guess.